welcome to Geek Life. I am your host Chris. Now, as viewers of our shows, our lists, our videos might be aware of, here at the Nerd and Geek Life offices, which is basically just my spare bedroom, we like to joke around a lot. And during live streams especially, me and Owen, we joke about almost any subject, no matter how taboo it is, no matter what it's about. We, for the most part, we really hope that you all realize that these are just jokes. But in order to make sure everyone is on the same page here, and just to show that we do respect women, we do respect religions, we do respect everyone, I've decided to put up this little video. Because if you're looking at women in nerd and geek fandoms, you're gonna find a lot of prime examples of real inspirational role models, really. Almost in any TV show, in any movie, there's always one or two women who you can really look up to. Recently we had Wonder Woman in the Justice League. We had Wonder Woman in her own standalone movie, which was just the best thing that the DC universe has ever produced. And of course we have other stuff like, look at Star Trek. They did a whole series of Voyager with a female captain, which had never been done before. Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain Marvel, all the ladies, the group shot of just all ladies in Endgame. Awesome moment there. And back in the day, women were very sexualized in games. In games, in nerd and geekdom, in anime especially. I think we've kind of moved on from that time. And that's a good thing. Sure, men will always love staring at boobs and butts. It's just the way we are wired. But that doesn't mean that us guys can't appreciate an intellectual and inspiring female lead character. And I've put 5 of my favorites on this list, and I hope you'll agree with me that they had an impact on our fandoms and that they are inspiring and worthwhile characters. The first one I want to talk about, at my number 5 spot, is Elisabeth Sladen. Now, she might not be the best known out of my 5, but if I tell you Doctor Who, if I tell you the Sarah Jane Adventures, do you know who I'm talking about? It's of course Sarah Jane. She was a first-time character in Doctor Who back in 1973, if I'm not mistaken. She later appeared in a spin-off of Doctor Who, which developed into her own standalone series as well, which aired at the BBC. It went on for 5 seasons, and she even got a guest spot in the new Doctor Who's from 2005 onward. And I've always found her an interesting character. Especially with the new Doctor Who's, you can see a lot of the companions who grew up to be really inspiring people. We had Martha Jones, we had Commander Harkness, what's his first name? I forget. Doesn't matter. We had Rose Tyler, Amy and Rory, and they all went on and did pretty amazing things in their own right, not always supported by the Doctor. And I feel that Sarah Jane was the first one of the companions to actually do this. To really make a name for herself and be able to stand on her own 2 feet without the Doctor being involved. So that's why she gets my number 5 spot. My number 4 spot goes to the actress from the Netflix series Jessica Jones. I am of course talking about Krysten Ritter. Now, the story about the Netflix Marvel connection, I mean, if you're into this kind of stuff, you know it's been iffy. Now with the start of Disney Plus, all of the Marvel properties have gone away from Netflix, and that's a shame. Jessica Jones on her own was one of my favorite Netflix originals. I think topped only by The Punisher. And it's also, I mean, in the Marvel Universe, but also outside of the Marvel Universe, I enjoyed Jessica Jones more than I did a series like Stranger Things. I know it's blasphemy, don't shoot me, please. But, I mean, she put down a strong female personality, especially in the first season with the Purple Man, where she is vulnerable but strong at the same time, where she shows she's gotten away from an abusive relationship. Because that's what I feel like that the first season is about. It's not as much about the superhero aspect of it all. I mean, it's definitely about that. But if you look at what's underneath it, there's a story about a woman who found her strength and got out of an abusive relationship. And this is why she gets my number 4 spot. Number 3. And I'm not sure if this really counts as being in our fandoms, but to me it has always been a personal favorite. Lucy Lawless from Xena Warrior Princess. Now we're talking about a series back from the 90s. It's been a while. It ran for 6 seasons and it was a spin-off of the Hercules series, where Xena first appeared as a true villain, a warrior princess in her own right, terrorizing certain villages. But Xena was such an engaging character that she got her own series, and she was accompanied by her companion Gabriella. And over the time of all the seasons, all 6 seasons, you saw the relationship between Gabriella and Xena evolve. Not on a purely physical level, but watching the later series, especially from mid-season 4 onwards, you had that kind of lesbian vibe between the two. And this is not the reason why I chose it, but it's one of the reasons, not because of how, you know, it's all true that certain men like all this lesbian stuff, but in the mid-90s this was kind of not done. Definitely not for an all-age television series, where those nuanced but still visible lesbian issues were being explored. And in that aspect, Lucy Lawless was kind of a trendsetter. Her series ran for most of the 90s, and I think that she did inspire a lot of women. At my number 2 spot is another woman in the 90s. And if we're talking about women of the 90s, if we're talking about nerdom geekdoms, there's one person that everybody always thinks about: Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It went on for 7 seasons, with the later seasons kind of dropping in ratings, but it did get continued in a comic book version, which is still running to date. Although not a lot of issues are coming out anymore, but still. Now, the idea around Buffy is that she's the Slayer, who hunts vampires, who hunts demons, and who basically just kicks ass. This was somewhere mid-90s, 96, 97, and it was one of the first truly powerful women that was put on the television sets that just appealed to 12-year-olds up to 40-year-olds. It had numerous spin-offs, not numerous, 2 that I'm aware of, and both those series as well continued on in comic book form. And it was just an awesome series. We saw not only Buffy and Sarah Michelle Gellar as a person growing, but we also saw developing relationships with men, with her family, with her friends, and still in this entire demon slaying fantasy setting, you still had the real vibe of humanity in there, of a teenager growing up, experiencing love for the first time, getting confused about her feelings, getting closer to the people around her, and it was just an awesome series. Also note that it was produced by Joss Whedon, so if you need a stamp of approval, that one's it. And yeah, it did awesome work with Buffy and Sarah Michelle Gellar. And my number 1 spot, one that just cannot be ignored, although she is forgotten by a lot of people, Linda Carter, from the original Wonder Woman series. And I know it's been a while, but she had 3 seasons from 1975 up to 1979. I know the 70s, it has been a long while, but still I feel like she's still influential to this day. If Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, had never been on TV, I don't think we would have been at the point where we are today. With people like Buffy, like Lucy Lawless, why am I always saying Buffy and not just Sarah Michelle Gellar? Anyway, if Wonder Woman was not on TV, I don't think we could have seen series like Xena, like the Sarah Jane Adventures, like Buffy, and like Jessica Jones. Linda Carter as Wonder Woman paved the way for everyone that came behind her. She was the original Wonder Woman to a lot of people to this day, and if you haven't, I mean, the series, it's kind of like the Adam West thing in the Batman. It doesn't really hold up today, but it's still just such nostalgia to watch it. And I wasn't even born then. I saw them on TV like, I think 20 years after they aired. But I still loved every moment of it. And if you take the chance on it, please watch them. I mean, they're a bit silly at times, but it's definitely worth a watch just to see Linda Carter perform Wonder Woman as she did, and paving the way for female actresses in lead roles and in the nerd and geekdoms. So I hope you all enjoy that. If you feel like you know other women who are more inspiring or who you feel like should be on the #1 spot, please let me know. Just put it down in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, please subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you all next time.